Just the facts.
It's a fact that one of the most important things we teach here at Teaching Fishing is boating safety. Having an inflatable PFD on anytime you're on the water can help save your life when an accident happens. You know, I've been on the boat when something goes bad, and it goes bad very, very quickly, and there's very little time to react. So, a high quality inflatable PFD are easy to wear, they're comfortable, they're not bulky, they allow for full fishing movement, and they could save you in case of an emergency. Make sure you've got an auto-inflatable PFD on your body as soon as that boat leaves the dock, and don't take it off till you're tied back up. We want you to come back from every fishing trip and join us back here at Teaching Fishing.
Just the facts.
PFDs. I got to tell you, I smile a lot on the Detroit River this year. One of the things that we're seeing a lot more of is anglers on the Detroit River wearing PFDs. And look, I don't care if it's because we talked about it or somebody else talked about it. I don't really care. I'd like to think that we had something to do with it a little bit, but man, it really makes me happy that I'm seeing more and more people and more charter captains put their customers in PFDs. Accidents happen so quick. You know, I've told you the story of, you know, when Dean and I were out and we had a little issue real quick, and it happens fast. So you want to make sure that you are prepared. All right, real quick. Inflatable life jackets are not designed to be lifesavers. If you have to go in the water and there's a situation, you're going to be in the water for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, the last thing you want on, well, the last thing you want on is nothing. Next to the last thing is inflatable. They will help you float, but they are not lifesavers. They are rescue aids. Somebody went over, there they are. I can see them. They can stay afloat. I can get them in the boat. 5, 10, 15-minute rescue. Inflatables are rescue devices. They're not life-saving devices. Type 2 or type 1, those big orange ugly ones, those are life-saving jackets, life-saving PFDs, right? So if there's a situation that you're going to go in, I would hope that the only thing you have in your boat is not inflatable life jackets, that somewhere in the boat you have enough of those orange type 1 or type 2s. Difference is type 1 will turn an unconscious person upright, a type 2 will not. We're required by law as charter captains to carry type 1s. I would encourage everybody that's listening to have type 1s in your boat. Those are life-saving PFDs. You get a leak in your boat, somebody hits you, you go under, or whatever the case may be, you got a problem, get those inflatables off as fast as you can, get your type 1 or type 2 orange jackets on. Again, inflatable PFDs are simply rescue devices. They're not life-saving devices. Okay. Water-activated lights on all your life jackets. That's a big deal. On my inflatables, I put Siloom sticks, so you can just crack them and shake them. So all my inflatables, once they open up, they have both a Siloom stick and a whistle. So that's kind of something I do, but my type 1s have water-activated SOS lights that once they hit the water, it activates them and they flash SOS automatically. Don't have to worry about it. And then somebody said a whistle on each of your jackets too. That's a huge thing. Have those ready to go. Because one thing we found out, right? So I'm not going to revisit Dean and I's escapade a couple of years ago. Maybe at some other point we will. But here's what I will tell you. I always had, we have to have lights on our PFDs to meet charter captain standards. All right. So I had lights on my PFDs up here on the shoulder that you had to reach, that you had to turn the bottom to turn the lights on. You had to push it in and turn the bottom. Okay. Easy. Here, I'm going to tell you, when you put on a type 1 life jacket, you do not have the manual dexterity to reach up here with both hands and turn that. Especially if you're a little bit cold or a little bit stressed from going in the water, your manual dexterity, especially with that big bulky life jacket, you can't reach up here and turn that on. Have a light that instantly goes on when it hits the water automatically. Biggest thing about life jackets or PFDs, guys, is you got to have them on, right? So I get a lot of guys telling me, well, I've got type 3s, which is all you're required to have. I don't like to wear them because they're bulky, so I put them over the back of my seat. Okay, well, you reach over to net a fish and you go ass over tea kettle in the water. What good is that life jacket on the back of the seat do you? Um, you know, inflatables. I test my inflatables every year. I recharge mine every year, and I have 8 of them. And I have either jumped in the water or pulled the cord on every single one of them every year. I've never yet to have a failure. Could that happen? Sure. No doubt it could. But here's what I know. I'd rather take a chance with a 1 in 1,000 chance of a failure with an inflatable that's on, because even if it doesn't blow up, you can pull it apart and start blowing on it. And you still got a first aid, you still got a life jacket, as opposed to a jacket that doesn't inflate, that's too bulky and no one's going to wear it. Because a life jacket doesn't work at all if it's not on, right? And I would argue this. I'm going to end with this. I would argue this. If you look at the statistics, we wear PFDs wrong. We wear them backwards. Very, 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 very few, and I mean a minuscule single-digit percentage of accidents in a boat where people are hurt or drowned happen when you're driving. So everybody gets in their seat, puts their life jacket on, and drives. They get up on the front deck and they're fishing, they take their life jacket off. Single digit drownings and death happen when people are driving. 85, 90% of those deaths happen from fishing. I'm reaching over the front deck to get a fish, to grab a fish. I'm reaching over the front deck to net a fish. I'm reaching over the back deck to net a fish. I'm sitting on the back deck to go to the bathroom. That's when accidents happen. Very few accidents statistically happen when you're driving. So according to the statistics, we should take our life jackets off when we're driving and put them on when we're fishing. We do it backwards. Just telling you what the data says. Ken says, what's the brand of the inflatable you use? I use the Onyx, and the higher the number, the more flotation it has. And I would encourage you guys this summer, when you're out fishing on a nice day and there's no wind blowing and the water's really warm, I would encourage you to jump in the water with your fishing clothes on, right? Pair of shorts, t-shirt, whatever you're wearing that day. Okay. And I would tell you to have somebody in that boat drive that boat at 2 miles an hour away from you, like you would if you were trolling, and see how long it takes you to catch that boat and then get in that boat. I think you realize that what you have now is very inadequate for anything but the best situation. Because remember, if you fall in by accident, you're probably in shock. You've probably sucked in some water. That's why most people drown when they go in. They go, especially when the water's cold, and they suck water, and now they're fighting the water in their lungs and they're trying to stay afloat. I think you'd be surprised how hard it is to catch up with a boat that's going a mile and a half an hour away from you, how fast the panic sets in. And I think you'd be surprised how hard it is for you to get in the boat or to pull somebody else in your boat. That is an eye-opening experience. Then I would tell you to do it with someone else in the water and put on what you're going to wear spring or fall. Rain gear, maybe a pair of boots, rain jacket, jump in and watch the difference. And then do it with an inflatable. Watch what happens. The other thing I would tell you to do is get in the water in a controlled environment. Do it at a pool. Get in the water. Have somebody throw you a life jacket. Let's say you fell in the boat and your life jacket's on the back of the chair. Have somebody throw you a life jacket in the water, in the deep end. Try to put it on. I think you'd be surprised that you're fooling yourself with the way you are running your safety on your boat. Okay? All right. Be cognizant. Be safe. Come home to see us.